Hello, Weekend Crafter! Welcome back to the Craft Time Studio. I'm Anne, your Weekend Crafter, and I love working with polymer clay. If that interests you, I hope that you consider liking and subscribing to the Craft Time Studio. And of course, it would also help if you click on that notification bell so that you get notified every time I post a new video. So, 10 months back, I started working on these clay tiles. Actually, the inspiration was from thinking of how I could maybe preserve some of the tiles that I make because I love really working with tiles and making slabs. So when that idea came up, every time I made a slab, I actually cut a little bit of a square, a tile, and I would bake that separately. And of course, because that was 10 months ago, I have a lot of clay tiles already and it's time to mount them. So because I found this board that I wanted to upcycle, I thought it would be a good combination to use this board as my frame for all these tiles.
My daughter decided that she no longer wanted to keep this domino board game that she had. When she showed it to me, I immediately thought of how to upcycle it. If you've been on my channel for a while, you will know that I love to upcycle and to find new uses for things that are destined for the trash bin. Initially, the board was painted with this bright violet and green color that was already peeling. I prepped the surface by sanding it. I also removed the nails and the closure hook it had because I just wanted a plain square board. By the way, I am not an expert on making frames or any type of woodwork project. I just really wanted to save this board using materials that I already had on hand. Then I took some of hubby's wall putty to try as best as I could to hide all the nail holes and the gaps between the wood. There was quite a bit of it around the border. Next, I just wiped the board down to make sure that there weren't any dust particles stuck to the board. After that, I placed wood glue where the board folded because this was now going to be a frame and it wouldn't need to be folded anymore. This will need some time to dry. As the glue was drying, I came back with some sandpaper to smoothen out the places where I spread the putty. Once the wood glue was dry, I started putting a base coat. Because the board is covered in bright colors, I thought it best to just coat the entire thing with white. I used acrylic paint as the first layer. By the way, as I started on this, I noticed that I wasn't able to place any putty on the board's fold, and so I came back and did that before proceeding with my painting. And because I had to sand this, I came in with my vacuum to get all the dust particles out. I also wiped everything down again so that the dust wouldn't mix with my paint. By the way, just a heads up to those who watch me on a weekly basis, I have started on new projects that will take more time than my usual. So, if I fail to upload for a week or two, it's because I needed more time to finish. I'm not going to bore you with a lot of white painting. Suffice it to say, I covered the entire board with a white base paint. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened here because my recording skipped to the part where I had already completely covered the board with some chalkboard paint. I painted the borders with gold and set it aside to dry. Finally, it was time to seal everything with a matte varnish. I wish that I could say that was the hard part of the entire thing. Actually, the part that took me some time to finish was the arrangement of the tiles. Like I said, I had been working on these individual tiles for 10 months, and to fill this board, I actually needed and used 30 individual tiles. Like I said in my intro, I really enjoy making slabs, but it's hard to let them go. And so, to have a memento of these slabs, I would cut a small square piece and bake them. That's why a lot of these tiles are one-offs. I also love making tiles out of my scrap pieces, and I bet you would not be able to recognize these scrap tiles from the bunch. To space the pieces as evenly as possible, I brought out popsicle sticks that I then used to sit in between the tiles. To stick the tiles up, I used some craft adhesive. As you can tell, even as I stick the tile, I am still moving pieces. And for that final touch, I placed some gold leaf on the edges of the border. I also sealed this gold leaf with the matte varnish to make sure that it would not detach from the frame. This piece now hangs on the wall of my crafting room, and it really reminds me to enjoy my creations. I know this is not my typical tutorial, but more of a sharing of the joys that I find in this craft. Well, I hope that you found this video entertaining. And like I said in the beginning, if you haven't yet, I hope that you consider liking and subscribing to the Craft Time Studio. I'm also on IG at crafttime.ph if you're curious to know what I'm doing during the week. Have a crafty weekend. Bye!